I still remember the way the saleswoman's smile vanished the moment she saw my mother's sari. "She cannot try anything on," she said, turning to the security guard like we were criminals. What she did not know was that the woman she just insulted had raised the CEO of Google. And today, karma was waiting just outside the store. Before we go further, tell us where you are watching from, and do not forget to subscribe for stories that reveal the real faces of society. My mother had never asked for luxury. She wore the same gold-rimmed glasses for years, tied her gray-streaked hair the same way, and still kept her phone in a small zip pouch. But it was her birthday, and I, Sundar Pichai, wanted to give her a day she would never forget. I was in town for less than 24 hours, but for her, I cleared my entire calendar. The store was glossy, the kind with glass that reflects your soul. She pointed at a simple designer shawl. It was white, elegant, and folded like it belonged in a palace. She did not want the most expensive item, just something nice, something she had earned after years of sacrifice. But as she stepped forward, everything changed. The saleswoman stepped in front of my mother like a bouncer at an exclusive nightclub. "That piece is not available for trial," she snapped, without even looking her in the eye. My mother paused, confused, gently clutching her hands. "I just want to see how it looks." The woman's voice turned colder. "We have other items, more suitable, cheaper ones." The way she said cheaper stung more than anything. It was not just the words, it was the smirk, the tone, the way she looked my mother up and down like she did not belong there. She saw the sari, the sandals, the humble posture, and decided she was not a customer. My fists tightened in my pockets. I had promised myself I would keep a low profile today. No cameras, no CEO talk, just a son treating his mother. But this moment, this was bigger than pride, bigger than me. The security guard stepped closer, sensing trouble, not from the rude employee, but from my aging mother, who still stood silent, trying to hold back the shame. Other customers started watching, some whispering, some pulling their handbags closer. I could not believe it. In a city built on innovation, inclusion, and progress, I was watching ignorance win, but not for long. I leaned in and whispered to my mother, "Let us take a seat. Let them finish digging their own hole." She nodded gently, though her eyes still shimmered with quiet hurt. I guided her to a nearby velvet chair, the kind they reserved for the real customers. Nobody stopped us. Not yet. The same saleswoman strutted past us, now laughing with a well-dressed couple, gushing over a diamond-studded handbag like it was the crown jewels. "Now this is the kind of client we adore," she said loudly, loud enough for us to hear. I opened my phone, tapped a contact labeled GCEO Ops, and quietly said, "Activate discretion lift, location code L22, and prepare full takeover of luxury division." There was a short pause on the line. "Understood. 10 minutes, Mr. Pichai," the voice replied calmly. That was all I needed. Suddenly, the store manager walked out from the back, a nervous smile on her face. She had just gotten a call from someone far above her pay grade. Her eyes scanned the room frantically, as if trying to spot a ghost in plain sight, and I just sat there, beside my mother, still invisible in their eyes. But not for long, because the next 10 minutes would rewrite the rule book they had been using to judge people like us. The store manager's shoes clicked too fast against the polished floor as she made her way to the front. Her face had lost all its color. The saleswoman, still flashing fake smiles, did not notice the shift in atmosphere until the manager stopped directly in front of her and whispered something in her ear. Her smirk vanished instantly. "Wait, what?" she muttered, her voice trembling as she turned to look at us again. This time her gaze lingered longer, confused, then worried, then pale. The manager approached me cautiously, like someone trying not to wake a lion. "Sir, we deeply apologize for the misunderstanding. Please, if you and your mother would allow us to make this right, we would be honored to serve you personally." I raised my eyebrows and tilted my head. "Misunderstanding? That word gets used a lot when rich people get uncomfortable." My mother simply stood up and looked the manager in the eye. "I am not here for diamonds. I was here for my son's time, and he gave me that. But what you gave me was a reminder of the world you still live in. The entire room had fallen silent. Customers stopped browsing. The once confident saleswoman now stood frozen, eyes flicking between the manager and me. Then the main glass doors opened. In walked two well-dressed security officers and a suited executive. But they were not there to protect the store. They were there to change it. The executive approached, smiled at me, and said just loud enough for everyone to hear, "Mr. Pichai, the acquisition is complete. Effective immediately, you own this location and the brand." The gasps in the room were louder than any luxury brand could buy. And the saleswoman? She dropped the handbag in her hand. The saleswoman took a slow step back, as if the floor had turned to fire beneath her heels. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The same woman who, moments ago, judged my mother based on her sorry, now looked like she had forgotten how to breathe. The executive leaned in again and said, "Would you like to keep the current staff, or shall we begin fresh hiring today?" I did not even look at her. My eyes were still on my mother, who stood calmly as if nothing could shake her. She gently touched my arm and whispered, "Do not punish them. Teach them." I smiled softly. That was her way. Where others chose revenge, she always chose grace. I turned to the executive and said, "Fire the one who judged my mother. Keep the rest. But make sure every new employee here is trained in empathy before sales." The room stayed silent, like the store itself was embarrassed. The manager nodded quickly, then turned to the saleswoman. "You may leave now, and do not return." The saleswoman tried to argue, her voice shaky. "But I did not know. I did not mean to." I finally spoke to her, calm but firm. "That is the problem. You did not know. You never even cared to know." And just like that, she walked out, past the customers, past the luxury she worshipped, past the mother she insulted. My mother turned to me with a smile I had not seen since my first promotion. "You did not change, Sundar. You grew. That is what makes me proud." I did not respond with words. I just hugged her. Right there in the middle of the store I now owned, the same store that once turned her away. A few days later, the luxury store had a brand new plaque on the entrance glass. Not the brand name, not a celebrity endorsement, just a simple message: "Respect has no price tag." That quote came from my mother. I asked her to write something for the world to read when they stepped into this place. She did not want her name on it. She just wanted the message to speak louder than her story. Inside the store, the environment had changed completely. The staff greeted every customer with kindness, regardless of how they looked, what they wore, or where they came from. There were no fake smiles, only honest ones. Word of what happened had spread fast. News channels picked it up. "Sundar Pichai's mother rejected by boutique, then redefines it." Headlines poured in. Comment sections were flooded with support, stories of others who had been judged, and people thanking her for standing with quiet strength. Some people expected me to sue, to tear down the store, or to expose the brand. But what would that have taught? Change happens not just when you remove the bad, but when you build better. My mother did not need a viral video to prove her worth. She never needed recognition, and she never asked for anything in return. She just wanted people to treat others the way they wish to be treated. And sometimes that is enough to change an entire system. A week later, I walked through that same boutique, this time unannounced. No cameras, no media, just me and my mother. The manager, the same woman who once smirked at her with condescension, was now standing by the counter, not in designer heels but in humble flats, no longer commanding the room, but observing it with humility. When our eyes met, she looked like she had seen a ghost. She stepped forward slowly, her hands trembling slightly. I just wanted to say I am sorry," she said to my mother, her voice barely a whisper. "I judged you. I was wrong." My mother smiled, not with arrogance or resentment, but with grace. "I forgave you the moment you did it," she said softly, "but I hope you will remember how it felt." The woman nodded, tears forming in her eyes. "I do. Every day." The store had quietly started a new community project, offering scholarships to girls from underprivileged backgrounds who dreamed of working in fashion and design. They named it the Hope Stitch, and they credited a woman who taught them what true elegance really looks like. As we walked out, my mother did not say much, but I could see it in her eyes. The peace, the strength, the quiet pride. She did not need revenge. She had already won. Sometimes the loudest justice is the kind that changes hearts, not headlines. That day taught me something I carry everywhere I go, even into the boardrooms of Silicon Valley. Respect is not about wealth, it is not about status, it is not about appearance, it is about humanity.